The first 10 minutes inside your cabin decide how the whole week goes, and the cruise lines are perfectly happy to let you waste them dropping your bags and running for the pool. Because here's what they'd rather you didn't do right away. So the very first thing, before you even sit down, walk into that little bathroom and flush the toilet, run the sink, and turn on the shower. I mean it. Test the plumbing the second you arrive. On a ship, a slow drain or a toilet that won't flush is the kind of thing that turns a cabin miserable by night 2. And maintenance is your best friend on the first afternoon and completely swamped by the second. If something's wrong, you want to be the very first call, not the 40th. That single check, done in the first minute, is the difference between a quick fix and 3 nights of a headache. Let me tell you why I'm so firm about this one. Years back, my husband and I settled into a cabin, dropped the bags, and went straight up to the sunshine like everyone does. It wasn't until we came back down that evening, tired and ready for bed, that we discovered the toilet wouldn't flush properly. By then, half the ship had reported little things. The crew were run off their feet, and we spent the better part of our first night waiting. Had we spent 60 seconds checking when we walked in, we'd have been at the front of the line instead of the back. I learned that the hard way, so you don't have to. And honestly, that one sore night is the reason I started making these lists at all. Now here's what most people never realize. Those little problems are far easier for the crew to solve in the calm of embarkation day than once 3,000 guests are all settled in and reporting things at once. The line won't tell you that. So we're going to move fast and smart, the two of us, right now. Stay with me and keep something to write with handy because I've got 12 of these, and by the end you'll walk into your next cabin and take control of it like you own the place. Take a picture of the screen at the end and you'll have the whole list. And if we haven't met, I'm Margaret, your cruise companion, and I make these for those of us sailing after 60 who like to step aboard calm, prepared, and one step ahead of the fine print. Let's keep going because the next one protects your valuables. The second thing, open the safe and test it before you trust it with a single thing. Every cabin has one, and here's the trouble. You don't know it's broken until the moment it won't open with your passport locked inside. So open it now, set your own code, close it, and open it again. Do that little dance twice while there's still time to have the crew fix or reset it. Only then do you put your passports, your extra cash, and any jewelry inside. Never leave those things lying on a nightstand, not for a minute, not on any ship. And a small thing I've learned about those cabin safes that nobody mentions, most of them run on little batteries, and on an older ship that battery can be tired and slow, so the safe hesitates or beeps at you when you close it. If yours is acting the least bit temperamental on day 1, that is precisely the moment to have your steward look at it, not on the last morning when you're rushing to pack and the doors jam shut over your passport. Test it while there's all the time in the world to fix it. One more honest tip. Don't set your code to your birthday or your anniversary. Those are the first numbers anyone would try. Pick 4 numbers that mean nothing to anyone but you, and use the same ones every cruise so you never forget them. Third, and this one is purely to protect your wallet, walk the cabin and inspect it like an inspector before you touch anything. Look for stains on the carpet, a cracked mirror, a chip out of the furniture, a broken drawer. Take a few photos on your phone. Then, if you find anything, report it to guest services right away. Why does this matter? Because a damage charge you didn't cause can quietly land on your final bill. And if you've got a photo from the first hour proving it was already there, that conversation is over before it starts. The cruise line certainly won't remind you to do this. I will. Give the whole cabin a look, not just the obvious spots. Slide the balcony door and check it latches, because a door that won't seal will whistle and let in cold air all night. Pull out the sofa bed if there is one and glance under it. Open every drawer and the closet. It takes 3 minutes. And those 3 minutes on the first afternoon are your proof, your protection, and your peace of mind rolled into one. I've never once regretted doing it, and I've regretted the 1 or 2 times I didn't. Fourth, turn the air conditioning all the way down the moment you walk in. Cabins are often warm and a little stuffy at boarding because the ship's been sitting in a hot port all morning, and that little room can take a good few hours to truly cool off. Set it cold now and it'll be comfortable by bedtime. And this is your chance to confirm the air conditioning actually works, while there's still time and a crew member free to look at it. A hot cabin on night 1 is a genuinely awful way to start a cruise. And I'll be honest with you about something, because I'd rather you hear it from me than be disappointed. On a lot of ships, that thermostat only gives you so much control. It might not go as cold as you keep it at home, and there's a limit to what the system will do. So if you've set it all the way down and the room is still warmer than you'd like by evening, that's your cue to have a quiet word with your steward on the first day. They know the tricks for their ship, and sometimes there's more they can do that isn't obvious from that little dial. Ask early while it's easy to sort out. Fifth, and this is a safety one I won't let you skip. Find your life jackets. They're usually in the closet or on a shelf up top, and you want to lay eyes on them on day 1. Confirm they're there. Confirm there are enough for everyone in the room, and confirm they're adult-sized, not left over from a family with children. If any of that is off, tell your steward and get it sorted immediately. You never expect to need them. You check anyway. That's just how sensible people travel. And while we're on safety, a word about the muster drill, because it goes hand in hand with this. Every cruise has one, that safety gathering before the ship sails. And many lines now let you do most of it right from your phone. Then just check in briefly at your station. Do not treat it as a nuisance to skip. Watch it, listen, and actually locate your assembly station on the deck plan so your feet know where to go, not just your paperwork. For those of us who don't move as quickly as we once did, knowing your route to that station before there's any crowd or any urgency is exactly the kind of quiet preparation that lets you relax for the rest of the week. You do it once, properly, on the first day, and then you go enjoy your cruise with a clear mind. Sixth, step out your door and find the nearest stairway, and as you walk to it, count the cabin doors between yours and that stairwell. It sounds fussy, I know, but picture the hallway in the dark or full of people, and you the one person who calmly knows it's 4 doors to the stairs. For our generation especially, that quiet bit of knowledge is worth having. You do it once on the first day, and you never think about it again. Seventh, unpack completely, right now, and then slide those empty suitcases flat under the bed. I know the temptation is to live out of the suitcase for a week. Don't. Hang everything, fill the drawers, line up your shoes, and get those big empty cases up off the floor and out of sight under the bed. A cruise cabin is small, and the single biggest thing you can do to make it feel calm and roomy is to reclaim that floor space in the first hour. You'll feel the difference every single day. Here's the little trick that makes unpacking painless. Unpack in an order. Hang the dresses and jackets first, before they wrinkle further. Then the drawers, 1 for each of you, and 1 just for the odds and ends, the chargers and the sunglasses and the little things that otherwise end up scattered. Set your medications and your nightly bits on your side of the bed, where you'll reach for them in the dark. And if you and your travel partner divide it up, one of you unpacking while the other tests the safe and the plumbing, the whole cabin is squared away in 15 minutes, and you never have to think about it again. A place for everything on the first afternoon. That is the entire secret to a cabin that feels restful instead of cramped for 7 days. 8th, there's a daily program waiting in your cabin. That folded paper schedule for today and tonight. Pick it up first thing and sit down with it for 2 minutes. Circle your dinner time. Circle the sail away, because standing on deck as the ship pulls out is one of the great pleasures, and people miss it unpacking. And check, right there, whether the clocks change tonight, because ships adjust time as they move, and it catches people out. 2 minutes with that paper and you own your evening. 9th, fill out the room service breakfast card and hang it on your door before you forget. That first full morning is often a busy one, a port morning, an early tour, and the last thing you want is to be fighting the buffet crowd half awake. Order a simple breakfast delivered to the cabin, coffee and something light, and hang the card tonight. On most lines, a basic breakfast this way costs you nothing, and waking up to coffee on your own little balcony or by the window is a lovely, gentle way to start a day. 10th, pick up the cabin phone and make sure it works, and take 1 minute to find the important numbers, usually printed right there or in the little directory. Guest services, the medical center, the dining room. Write the medical one where you can find it, or put it in your phone. I don't say that to worry you. I say it because if you ever need help quickly, at 2 in the morning, you do not want to be squinting at a directory trying to figure out who to call. Know it now, while it's calm. And this is the moment to sort out how you'll stay in touch with home, too. If you've decided to buy the ship's Wi-Fi package, the first day is when it's often discounted, and getting it set up now means you're not wrestling with a login later when you actually want to reach someone. But here's the honest part. You do not need to be connected every hour to enjoy a cruise, and I'd argue you'll enjoy it more if you're not. What matters is that the people back home have the ship's name and the emergency number to reach you through the cruise line if something ever happens while you're at sea. Give a grown child or a neighbor that number before you sail. Then set the phone down and go watch the ocean. That's the balance I've come to after all these years. 11th, and this is one I feel strongly about at our age. Take a packet of sanitizing wipes and go over every surface your hands actually touch. The TV remote first, because that thing is almost never cleaned between guests. Then the phone, the door handles inside and out, the light switches, the drawer pulls, the bathroom taps. Cabins get turned around fast between cruises, and the remote and the switches are exactly what gets missed. 2 minutes with a wipe on day 1 is the cheapest insurance there is against spending day 3 feeling poorly. And no, the little sanitizer dispenser in the hall does not do this job for you. I pack a small resealable bag of wipes right in my day bag for exactly this, so they're in my hand the moment we walk in, before the suitcases even land on the bed. It has become the very first thing I do, before I so much as sit down, and I genuinely believe it's part of why I so rarely come home from a cruise having caught anything. It's a tiny habit. It costs almost nothing, and at our age, when a stomach bug can knock you flat for days, it's simply not worth skipping. And the 12th, the one that gives real peace of mind. Before the week gets busy, find out where the ship's medical center is and what hours it keeps. It's on the deck plan, or your cabin phone directory, or just ask guest services. For those of us who carry a health worry quietly in the background, knowing exactly where to go on day 1 in the calm is worth more than I can tell you. You will almost certainly never need it, but knowing takes a weight off, and you enjoy the whole week a little more for it. One more small thing worth knowing about that medical center. It keeps set hours, usually a window in the morning and one in the late afternoon, and it's open around the clock only for genuine emergencies. So if you take a regular medication and you think you might need anything from them, sort it out during those posted hours rather than at midnight. And if the sea gets rough and you've forgotten your motion sickness remedy, that's exactly where you go for it. Knowing all of that on the calm first day, rather than working it out while you're feeling poorly, is the whole point. Now, I know that's a dozen things, and I don't want it to sound like work, because it truly isn't. Done together, the two of you moving through the cabin at once, this whole routine takes about 10 quiet minutes before you ever head up for the sunshine. 10 minutes that hand you a cabin that's safe, comfortable, organized, and entirely yours for the week. Compare that to the people who dropped their bags and ran, and are still finding problems on day 4. That's the trade. 10 minutes now, or little headaches all week. I know which one I choose every single time, so let me hand you the list, clean, and this is your moment to take a picture of the screen. The second you get into your cabin, test the plumbing, flush and run the taps. Open and test the safe, then lock your valuables away. Inspect the cabin and photograph any damage, then report it. Turn the air conditioning all the way down. Find your life jackets and check they're right. Count the doors to the nearest stairway. Unpack fully and stow the suitcases under the bed. Read the daily program and circle dinner, sail away, and any clock change. Hang the breakfast card for the morning. Check the phone and note the key numbers. Wipe down every high-touch surface. And find the medical center before you need it. You know, a good many of you have written asking me to put all of this somewhere you can actually carry aboard, so you're not trying to remember it in the doorway with your bags in your hands. I did exactly that. This whole first hour routine, along with the full 90-day plan and the medication and mobility guide, lives in the Senior Cruise Companion Collection. It's the written version of everything we just did together, ready to bring right into the cabin with you. The link is in the description, and there's a code on your screen for those of you watching on the television. It's there if it would help you, and only if you want it. But hear me on this. Not one thing on this list cost you a penny, and not one of them is a secret the cruise line will ever hand you at the door. They're simply the habits of people who've done this 100 times and learned to take quiet control of that little room the moment they step inside. Be one of those people on your next cruise. 10 calm minutes at the start, and the whole week runs smoother. I'm Margaret, your cruise companion. Take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you on the next one.